2012, Governor Cuomo, in his State of the State address, announced the Energy Highway. The goal of this initiative was to unbottle electricity that is generated in western and central New York and open up markets in New York City and downstate New York so that the energy prices down there would be lower. So they want to build a new transmission line that would create more capacity to bring that power down. So this is all about shaving prices down in New York City by creating a giant extension cord to take that power from western and central New York. The specter of these new transmission lines has cast a dark shadow over the entire Hudson Valley, running right through communities, passing by some of the most important tourist destinations in the Hudson Valley, like Olana, FDR's home and library. It was proposed to run through the Omega Institute. People who were planning on building on properties that they own moved out of town because of that uncertainty. Who would want to build a new home with a giant transmission line, high voltage transmission line running through your backyard?
In the 1930s, the New York Power and Light Corporation had gone through this area and, just like a red line through the path of a map, decided that this was going to be the place to run from Niagara Falls to New York City. I don't think the residents here had much say about it. It was just part of the 1930s progress, and it's been here ever since. This is the town of Livingston at Green Acres Farm. The farm's been in my family now for exactly 100 years this month, and I'm the fourth generation and manage this fruit and vegetable farm with my older brother and mother and other relatives. The rationale originally for this project was congestion. The idea is that there's too much traffic for a 2-lane highway, let's build it into a 4-lane highway. But as our group, the Hudson Valley Smart Energy Coalition, dug deeper, we found that New York State has all of the energy that it needs from now into the future decades, going 20, 30 years and beyond. It's bad for our communities, it's bad for the planet. It's going back in time to the early 20th century instead of forward into the 21st century. The lines are simply not needed.
If you want that metaphor, it's an extension cord disconnected from anything else. In terms of mean demand, we have about 60% surplus right now, 50–60% surplus. In other words, we have half again as much as we need. This is almost ingeniously designed to reduce efficiency of usage of resources in New York. And it's embarrassing because New York is, at least on paper, a technological leader. For a state like that, in the second decade of the 21st century, to commit itself to 19th century energy sources is unconscionable.
All of the risk, all of the damage will be borne by ratepayers and the people of New York. The utility developers can walk away with a 12% return on investment.
The issue affects all New Yorkers because all New Yorkers have to pay for it. We're all interested in providing a better, more nimble system where energy is used near the point where it's generated. We want a 21st century energy solution. That's everybody's problem, whether you live 1 mile from these lines or 100 miles from these lines. Why would we, as a community, as a state, reinvest in lines that are a century-old technology when it's not needed?